Well, hello YouTube. We are back for another tying video today. We're going to be tying up a Blue Perdigon. I tend to tie these up in the winter time. My last video was tying an ecstasy fly. That seems to be my most popular video so far. It's really taken off, several thousand views already. So thank you to all of those who watched that one. But whenever I start tying egg flies, I start thinking about incorporating the color blue into my flies. And I don't know why I've always associated blue with winter fishing. I'm sure blue works to other parts of the year, but it's just one of the colors I have confidence in the winter. And recently I've been tying a Blue Perdigon, a very simple tie, but seems to be pretty effective. So I'm going to tie that for you today. It is I'm going to tie a bigger size of it, do something a little different. So what I have in the hook right now is a size 12 jig hook, and I have that paired with a larger bead. It is a size 4.0 slotted tungsten bead. So this would be a really heavy fly, but I do like to carry some flies this heavy, especially in the winter when I'm fishing deeper water and I really want to get down. I fish a lot of slow, deep pools, and I do find that sometimes I need a 4.0 bead to get myself down there. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to be using some blue thread today, and this is Danville. It's actually a 210 Denier because I want to build a quick taper on this fly, so I'm going to use a heavier Denier. So I'm just going to get started the way I normally would. I'm going to get some thread wraps behind the bead to kind of lock that in, and then I'm going to slowly wrap down the shank of the hook. Now, normally I would just snap my 70 Denier off, but you don't want to try that with 210 Denier. You'll end up bending your hook. So, all right, I just like to get a base of blue thread on there. I am going to taper my body up a little bit, but before I do that, I'm going to tie in my tail. And for my tail with all my Perdigons is Coq de Leon. So I'm going to grab some barbs of that. Probably about 10 barbs or so, since this is a bigger fly. I'm going to use a little bit more prominent tail, and I'm going to make that the length of the shank of the hook. Just trying to get everything lined up. All right. All right, I'm just going to go up the shank. Adjust that just a little bit. Now, when you're wrapping your thread for Perdigons, you really, whether the thread is the material or you're going to use some kind of a tinsel or flashabou, whatever you're going to be using, you want to make sure you keep a really nice thin underbody. And the way that you do that is you counterspin your thread, and you kind of uncord it, and you get that thread nice and flat. And then you just take slow turns, and I want to build up a taper for this Perdigon. I want to try to get that carrot shape, if you will. So I'm just going to keep a nice flat thread, and I'm going to try to build a little bit of a taper. I'm pretty happy with that, the way that looks. Okay, now I'm going to spin my thread the other way, spin my bobbin the other way. I want to actually cord my thread now, and because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using my thread as a ribbing material. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a black Sharpie, and I'm going to color my thread black, and that's going to become my ribbing to give this fly a little bit of a segmented look. So I'm going to just take my black Sharpie, I'm just going to run it up and down that thread, making sure it gets both sides. All right. Again, just make sure that really soaks in. And now I'm just going to make, just like I would with wire, just nice even turns. Give that a segmented look. And when I get up to the bead, and make a little collar of the black thread, and then I'm going to whip finish. And the thicker the thread, the fewer turns I feel like I need to do in my whip finish. So we're going to do a 3-turn whip finish there. Tighten that, and then I'm going to give a little pressure and snip that off so I don't have any tag hanging out there. All right, my next step, we're going to be using some Loon Flow in clear. I don't normally use the brush for this, but because this is a larger fly, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to use the brush. And sometimes you can see the brush gets a little gnarly, so you just want to be careful. But I just want to coat this fly. There are better tools for this. I usually use a vodka needle to put flow on, because I'm generally doing smaller flies. There's little makeup brushes that work really well. You can buy them on Amazon. But for now, I'm just going to use the gnarly brush, which I don't normally do. And but once I get that coated, now I'm going to use my infinity light. I just charged it up. I can't say enough about this infinity light. It's 60 bucks, so it's a little salty. But I think eventually it'll pay for itself, because all of the other lights just chew through batteries so quickly. This one just recharges, and so you don't have to keep buying batteries, and it's really a powerful light, so it just seems to work really well. All right, so now I am curing the UV, the Loon Flow, and I'm just about done here, but I am going to use, to create a wing case, I'm going to be using another Loon product. This is UV Finish in black. And the way that I do that is I take the tip of that and I just squeeze out a drop. And then I'll use gravity there to kind of keep it down until I get my light ready. And now I'm going to use my light to cure that black wing case. And be patient on this step. You want this to cure really well, and that way it becomes a really indestructible fly. But I have found that the UV black will chip off if there's an air pocket in there, or if you don't cure it long enough. So I like to cure it nice and long, and now that I'm not worried about batteries, you know, I'll cure it longer than I normally would. All right, my last step then is to apply just some hairline dubbing product called Hard as Hull. And again, I just use a tiny little bit here and I put it on the wing case. So when I'm doing that, I just like you would with a paintbrush, I really get rid of the excess. And then I just apply that to the wing case. Keeps it nice and shiny. All right, well, that's it. This is a great fly for wintertime. Honestly, it probably works throughout the year, but I find myself really only using blue as water temperatures decrease. I don't know why that becomes a confidence pattern. Probably somewhere along the way I caught a few fish on a blue fly in the winter. I don't have any scientific research to back that up, but for me, it's a confidence fly, and I can tell you, when you fish confidence flies, you just fish better. So this is one I like to use in the winter time, which we're coming up on now. I'm going to be heading out to Central PA tomorrow, so I'm hoping to make a decent video for everybody of some of my experience. I'm going to be spending 2 days out there, taking my daughter out back to school after Thanksgiving. She attends State College, or Penn State rather, out in State College. So I'm going to be hitting some of the streams out in that area the next 2 days. So hope you enjoyed this. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe and check out troutstrike.com. I thank you for your support of the site. And as always, have a great day and make sure you're getting out on the water.